Hello everybody, it's me, and today I'll be doing some throwing for you guys. This one's kind of weird, so I edited the short that you're going to see at the beginning was one that I did, I don't know, there's one that I did yesterday, right? And so I'm going to start the video with one of my edited shorts. I'm going to end the video with one of the conversation cup mug things, right, that I've been doing. So stick around to the end to see that. And I was thinking, like, people have an intro and it stays stagnant, right? I think one day I'd like to have an intro if things start blowing up. But for now, how come an intro can't be a project, right? How come an intro or an outro can't be just a small little thing that I've been working on at the end, right? And so I think that that's a good way to incorporate some of my other works, and I've been doing a little bit of it, so I hope you guys like that. Today, I'm sort of just going to talk through my day with you guys. So fun, I woke up this morning and I did some editing, and then I have all the raw files for those videos, the video that I'm going to put at the end here. I have like all the audio files, all the images and everything. I have all that stuff in a file on my computer, and so I just have to put them in together in a video format and edit. And so that's what I did this morning. And then after that, I had a gentleman who I've kind of been getting to be more familiar with. He invited me to go to the school is doing an empty bowl sale, so a lot of the students made like cups and bowls and stuff, and it's sort of just like a fundraiser for the school. So he asked me if I'd go. He sent me the pamphlet or the poster for it. And so I'm also having some trouble centering this clay here. What the hell has happened? Okay, we'll do it like this. I ended up going and I brought him a cup because he inspired me to do a series of work with these sort of spirally stamps that you see in a lot of my pots. And so I wanted to give him one as a way to honor like him showing me the stamps, right? And so I gave him one and he was thankful. I met his wife and that was kind of cool. And then I looked at the cups and bowls and I got 3 of them, and he was thankful, and I talked to some of the students, and that was really cool. But you know, sometimes when people ask you to do those things, especially like if you don't talk to them on a regular basis, sometimes it's good to just show face, you know, interact, talk with at least like one person when you go to those like events. Just pick somebody and just start talking to them, and then after that conversation is, you know, you were there, you interacted with somebody, you know, that's all you really need. You don't need to bust your ass and talk to every single person there, you know, like, then you're gonna come off as disingenuous, right? At least have one conversation that you were excited to have, and then you don't have to stay. Like, it's not a big deal if you leave after that. It's not like, I've always thought that the people who talk to everybody at a party or at an event, like, they have there's an intention behind why they're doing that, right? And I think my best interactions are ones where they feel honest and genuine. Somebody who's forcing themselves to talk to me, I definitely don't want to talk to them. I'm like kind of annoyed by them, actually. And so, I'm going to do a nice slow pull here. I can feel it starting to twist on the bottom, but that's okay. Let me just tuck that in. But then after that, a buddy of mine, he's in this, like, it's like a repurposed factory that they've turned into a studio, and he asked, well, he didn't ask, somebody else did if I would go, and so I decided I was going to make an effort, and I don't talk to this buddy, like, too often, you know, but I think he's really cool, so I wanted to make sure I went there and talked to him for a little bit, and then I ended up meeting a bunch of people, and I brought some cups for some other individuals that I knew I was going to see there, so I wanted to make sure I did all of that. Conversating and giving, and look at, man, what the hell happened here? Look at this one, guys. This one's crazy. Sorry, I just kind of went into the zone there on that pole. But I talked with some people there. You know, I met a guy with a really cool beard, and I gave him one of my cups and introduced myself. And then I saw some more people that I've already knew. And then I saw a bunch of people that I wasn't expecting to see there. And so got to have a lot of really nice conversations. And overall, it was just a really good time. My friend, he's been making these goblets recently, so I got to see, like, the goblets, and I got to talk to him about life and work and mentality and things just not going your way and how to deal with that stuff. And, you know, I respect his opinion a lot, so it's always good to hear what my buddy has to say about that stuff, you know. He's somebody who's more like, I don't know if the word, maybe, he's not cynical, but he's just a deep thinker, right? I've always sort of liked to talk to people who are, this one's collapsing, so I gotta just twist, right? Well, I can't really open this one up, so it's gonna have to stay like sort of small like that. It's just got way too thin on the top there, so I can't pull it out. You know what? No. I know it's gonna go wrong, and I don't hate this pot, so we're gonna just leave it. Right? Those are those urges that you get when you're throwing. You might get the urge like, oh, just, what if I could save this one part? Just chill out, right? You don't have to do something, right? Even though, like, your body's, like, urging you, right? There's always the case with ceramics where if you just take that next step, sometimes it just ruins the piece. You don't have to take that next step. You can just stop it where it's at. That's something I tell, like, my students, right? Like, there's times in which you're called to take it to the next step, and then there's also times where you're called to chill out and just not do something as, like, that risky, right? And you'll be able to, the more and more you listen to yourself, and the more and more you know your skills, and the more and more you know your material, you know when those moments are. So, oh my gosh, this one's like really wobbly, but it's just because it's really thin. But here's this one, guys. Sweet. So this one over here. It was so funny, some of the people that were there, you know, they were looking at my buddy's work, and I really think my friend has some like really stellar work. So I went over and I was like gassing him up, and it just reminded me how much I miss being around like people who are making, right? Getting to hear their thinking process, getting to hear about like what they like and what they don't like. I always thought that like there's a difference between somebody who's just kind of like shits on their work to shit on their work, but then there's the people who shit on their work because they desire more from themselves, right? And like I've always thought it was annoying, like the people who just like to say like, oh, my work's not good, you know, compared to like the people who like know what they're capable of and expect more, and they desire more from themselves. That's like the coolest thing I think that I like about like makers, like when they embody that sort of mentality. It's really awesome. But one of the guys who I gave a cup to, he ended up giving me one of his cups. He said I could pick, and I thought that was pretty cool. And so I picked the one that felt like most like it, not for like commercial purposes. He does like does a lot of the sales, like craft sales. So I picked one that felt like more like his work rather than like work to sell, you know. So that was pretty cool. I think I would love to be in a space like this factory around all these people. But right now, what I'm doing here, it's working for me. Meaning that it's possible for me to do it here. Sometimes it gets a little irritating, like I'm tripping over stuff, but I don't mind, right? Like this is my life. The fact that I can't sit down in my living room, right? Like, why do I need to sit in there anyway, right? I got shit I got to do. So, but it is cool to dream about like an idea of being having a direct space that's separate from my home for making. But I don't know. And then gotta see some people from my old school, people I play basketball with on Sundays. So that was really nice that they showed up. I got to chat with them for a little bit. And then I saw this gentleman that I go to a place to get my clay, right? And I met this guy last time I was there, and he told me about that he does ceramics when I went into the store, right? And I followed him on Instagram, and wouldn't you believe it that his studio's in that same building. And so I got to see him, and he made this like blueberry sorbet, and so he gave me some of this blueberry sorbet, and that was like, it's like really nice of him to do that. So that was kind of cool. And then really focusing on compressing that clay here. You can see it's a little bit uneven at that middle part there. So I'm just going to go in right here. Just create a spot for me to get up underneath. And then look at that, right? Now I have a good spot to pull from the bottom all the way through. And this top part isn't going to be really wonky, and I'll be able to hold it in place. I also met a guy he goes to one of the places that I teach, but I don't teach him personally. He's in one of the other classes. But he was telling me about like some of his work, and so it's cool getting to talk with him about that stuff. And he was talking to me about throwing larger, and I'm getting pretty good at the medium stuff. You know, like this is like a medium, I would say, but I don't really do a lot of the really large stuff yet. But I was telling him some of the things I found out, right? Like keeping my pinky out as I'm doing a pull, like what I just did. Oh my gosh, that really changed the game for me and my work. So here we're gonna start this. Look at that freaking twist. Oh my God, guys. I'm telling you, when this clay is soft, but it's a little bit stiffer than the batch yesterday. I'm freaking obsessed. This is gonna fall, I think. Lightning hands, dude. I'm gonna twist this a little bit more. Again, it's twisting again. Alright, gotta get ready. And so, I'm sort of just shaking it down so that it starts to support itself. And I think here we're pretty good. I don't think it's gonna fall down anymore from this part. But as I'm getting better, I'm getting thinner. If I don't have really hard clay, then it's gonna have to sacrifice other parts, right? And so that's just gonna be having to have more supporting material there to hold it all together. Really liking how this one's looking, guys. That's number 2. But yeah, that was kind of my day, and I just sort of chilled out and did some of that stuff. I think it's important that I talk to people, right? Sometimes I get really distracted and, well, not distracted. Sometimes I get really uber focused on my own stuff, and I just don't stop. And then I forget that I gotta make sure I am talking with people, right? So, like I said, it's good that I sort of talk with some individuals. Oh, one of the pots fell. I gotta go pick it up. Look at, wow, that one's got a whole rip in it. This one's really twisted. I got some water coming out of there too. Damn. These ones are like, today these ones are twisted to fuck. Alright, let's start this last one here. I feel like I'm missing some things. I'm missing some details, but I think that's okay. You guys don't need to know like everything, but just kind of the moments that stuck out to me. My friend makes goblets, so I made sure I gave him one of the goblets that I made. I think he's always sort of inspiring me, like with his forms. I think he has like a very educated eye when it comes to things like that look good, you know. So I always find myself, he makes a double wall cup and I will also make one, right? He makes like a flowery form. And so, obviously they look different. Our styles are like completely on other sides of the world, but am inspired by him a lot. I always thought that, like, in the art world, when you find people that that are unique, right? You'll meet a lot of people, and they might have like some little, like one little like trick up their sleeves that separates them from somebody else's. But I've always thought, like, sometimes people just make a lot of the same looking stuff, right? Like, I don't want that. I don't want to be anywhere near stuff that looks the same. Get me away. So I thought, whenever you find those people that really stand out to you in your life, keep those people around, even if it's people that you don't really necessarily like. Sometimes I think the most honest feedback are from people that don't like you, right? People that like you sometimes will hold stuff in. The people that don't like you, oh my gosh, what a source to draw from. That one keeps falling. All these ones today, I'm just going a little bit too thin. The clay is just a tad too soft. And so, having a lot of problems. Okay. Getting some thickness on this top here. That's good. Look at that thickness. Alright, let's get this pulled out a little bit. No. This one I'm losing it a little bit, right? You can see that bottom, I went way too thin and I have too much clay on the top. So whenever I'm sort of messing with that top, I'm reducing the chances of a successful pot. So this is one of those instances where whenever it fails, you got to push outward. But it always helps when you're pushing outward. Slowly. And focused. All right, look at that. There we go. So we can see we can get this clay back on center here. Sweet. And so now we're going to start from the bottom here. Look at that. Yes. Okay. And this is one last pull. Keep that water. Oh no, I gotta open this up just a tad so my finger can get, my hand can get down on the bottom here. Okay. A little bit of clay there. I think this one has potential to look really cool. So I stopped it there. It got really thin. But I'm thinking if we just keep this up, it's going to look cool when it collapses in on itself. Right? I'm going to let that twist. Hold that there. I'm going to let this go out. Oh, I ripped it. What else can I do this one? I'm going to just flap that over. almost looks like a monster. Interesting. I think today is a day of just making things and seeing what happens. Look at how cool this one is. I think this is a cool idea, but I don't necessarily think this is the best version of it, right? I'm gonna get a little wire tool here. I'll make some cuts on this one. And then I gotta get ready for the photograph. The photo's gonna look busted as hell, just because the pots have changed a little bit since they came off the wheel. Twist, 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 twist. I'll leave these ones open, I think. Sweet. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to take the photo here, and I think that's the pots for the day, guys. Yeah, I hope you guys liked the intro, and I'm going to cut to the outro here in a second. But thanks again, all the best, strong mentality, peace.
So my coolest memory is my senior year of high school. I had the opportunity to go down to Florida with my band. I was playing a baritone in the marching band, and we got to actually go to Disney World and march through one of the Disney parades. And we also got to spend like the whole weekend there just being at the United King Castle.